Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today is another day of the 0 to Gold Cap Challenge. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we will be doing a noob's guide for flipping. So that being the case, let's just go over quickly what we've been doing for the last few days, as obviously we've been doing a load of top 5 guides due to the auction house bugs and all that jazz. So I finished off all of my farming. We currently have a load of pyrium ore. We do have 61 true gold. I did a lot of farming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick of mining in Oldham, so I'm glad we've got this much true gold at the moment. We also crafted them all into our different pieces, so obviously we've run out of all of these mats here. Well, we've got a sizable amount still, but which we can turn into true gold if we farm some more volatile fire and volatile water, along with a bit more volatile air. We can make some more true gold. We can also farm up some more of this stuff over here, which is a couple of farms in which you can do, which is the Oldham Whiptail farm and the Bashir farm. You will be able to get the Cinder Bloom respectively with the Whiptail if you follow the route in Worth It. Alongside that, you do get your volatile lives in order to craft your potions, and currently as it stands we have 51 potions of Titanic Strength, and we have 48 of the Flasks of Wind, along with 61 true gold and 5 deep stone oil. We need some more albino cavefish. So that being the case, let's jump over to our mage and have a look at the gold for the day. So obviously we know we've had a few issues when it comes to the auction house. Well, more specifically, the mailbox. But let's have a look at how much gold we've made for yesterday, because we didn't post for a couple of days because we didn't want to lose any gold. It seems to have rectified itself, so let's have a look at some gold that we've actually got. We actually managed to sell the Mechanized Chopper for 27,075 gold, and we also sold an Iron Forge doublet for 381 gold. We bought that for 250 gold and we sold it for 381 gold. Pretty happy. So 27,456 gold overall for the day. So let's pull in that gold. Now you can see that we're no longer at 100,000 gold. That's because we said as soon as I found out that the Mechanized Chopper sold and the Vial of Sands sold, obviously we've bulked the Mechanized Chopper and the Vial of Sands completely. So I sent over 29,000 gold to Zathrash and 12,500 gold to Dala GG in order to create the Mechanized Chopper and the Vial of the Sands, along with all of their baseline material. So let's take those out and let's have a look on the Worth It add-on, blah blah blah. It's 86,000 gold worth of stuff, so if we sell all of this, it's 86,000 gold. So pretty damn good if we sell it on the auction house, because that will boost our total up to 180,000 gold in our bags. So if we can sell quite a lot more of these, we'll be at 200,000 gold. So we will quickly post that to the auction house, and we've actually managed to do quite a few things, so pretty damn happy on the way things are going at the moment. The auction house has sold a few things, but I'm no longer seeing any gold or fish that I've sold recently this morning. There are delays on the mailbox, so depending on how long it took, it's probably going to take a little bit longer to rectify that situation, but you will be getting your gold. I've been trying to keep posted on the mailbox problems as and when, and I'm going to start posting any updates that I find to you guys on the Discord, just to make sure that you guys are aware of all of the stuff, so going forward. Currently as it stands, let's just post our stuff. So 28,500 gold for the Mechanized Chopper and 57,000 gold, 890. So that's pretty damn good. Just add that in and hopefully we sell them. We did sell some malformed gnashes, but the mailbox hasn't come through for the fishing farm. By the way, if you go into Worth It, the new version of Worth It, of course, and we go into fishing, we can see that it's now dropping down to the regular price because everyone's getting hold of the recipes now for the cooking in order to craft the malformed gnasher buff food and all that stuff and the void fins. So it's probably worth your time to farm it up in Aldham. This is in the new Aldham, and it's basically fishing it up where the whiptail was farmed up. It does tell you the location, sell rate, and gold, of course. But 23,100 gold for literally an hour. That's not bad per hour. So I'm probably going to spend quite a few hours over there because they're selling insanely fast, and the sell rate's not saying that, but they're selling pretty damn fast, and I want to get in on that as fast as possible because the price will drop quite considerably over the next few weeks. So note to self, let's do that. So currently, as it stands, we've already reinvested our gold. We're currently at 91,139 gold. And today we will be doing a noob's guide to flipping. So that being the case, we will be getting into this flipping. So what we're going to be doing is by utilizing the Worth It add-on, because there's no point doing the math ourselves if it's already done for you. So I'm going to jump over to flipping, and the most common one is milling. So with milling, the idea of it is mainly just buying up the herbs, milling that into pigments, and then turning it into inks. Now, the Worth It add-on does it for you for a stack of 200, and how much you can get for that. So what we are going to be looking for is the cost to sell ratio. So of course, the sell rates are not on there, but if you pan yourself over, you can see the sell rate on the screen literally at the bottom, which says region's sell rate is 0.64, and the region average daily sold is 20,000 of these. So we can see that the Zenithid is pretty damn good for the herb, but it doesn't specify the inks ones. So if you wanted to double check, do it on your Alchemist, in which you can actually check the sell rates through TSM, and we will be rolling out an idea of putting sell rates for the inks on the screen for the flipping modules going forward. Just a little side note. So I know that maroon ink sells quite well on my realm, so this does take into consideration that you're going to be wanting to invest a decent amount of gold in order to do this. So it's going to cost me, for a stack of 200 Zenithid is 1,600 gold, but the gold that I can get back is a 20,000 gold profit for creating maroon ink. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm probably going to invest about 10,000 gold into Zenithid, and then we can scale ourselves down and have a look at other things. Now, I know that the Legion inks still sell at a relatively fast rate, and the best one to do that is Dreamleaf. And for a stack of 200, we spend 1,400 gold for a 7,844 gold profit. So I'm not going to worry too much on that. And as it stands with Riverbud, you can only make 200 gold profit for every stack of Riverbud you mill. So I'm probably going to not do that BFA one. So it's basically just finding out which ones you think will be milled for the best and double checking your sell rates. Obviously, I know my sell rates off by heart, and it's probably worth your time to have a look on your Alchemist, which I will show you in a minute on how to do that if you're not too sure. So that being the case, we're going to definitely buy some Zenithid, and we're going to buy some Dreamleaf. So we're probably going to buy about 10 stacks of Zenithid and probably 10 stacks of Dreamleaf. So over 1,000 of each. So that being the case, let's move on to our next of flipping, and that will be the prospecting. Now, if anything will show up, we'll see if it's anything decent. Now, with the Osmanite ore flip, at the moment it costs you 3,000 to near 4,000 gold, and you can only make a 703 gold profit. So judging by this, Ghost Iron ore being prospected doesn't actually take that much in order to do, but it gives you a high return based on the gold average. But because it's mop gems, this is where the common sense comes in. Do people buy those mop gems all that much if they are not the blue ones? And the answer is not a lot of people buy them. So I'm probably not going to do anything with the prospecting because we've just double checked it. And just to make sure, if you are using the add-on, go with your DB min buyout, because it will be a lot easier for you to source which ones are the cheapest on your realm at the moment, and then you can see where you're going to go from there. If you do not want to do that, you can go with DB Market or Region Historical, but at the end of the day, it will probably be more beneficial if you're going to do it that day and sell it that day to do it with the DB Min buyout. This is just from my experience overall. So the next thing is the Disenchanting. So if we bump our way over to Disenchanting, we can see a cost of 525 gold for a 2,629 gold profit for the frost woven wraps. This is where we craft the frost woven wraps and we sell those on the auction house. Now this one tends to be quite good, and I'm not going to lie, this actually looks quite viable because crafting and disenchanting 500 frost woven wraps is not going to take you that long to do, and for a 2,629 gold profit on that for most enchanting items, besides like the Greenland bracers and the runecloth ones, they sell rather fast. So like anything from like Wrath of the Lich King, Kata, and anything from Legion and BFA, they sell really, really well. The rest of them take a little bit longer to sell, but these ones are the fastest selling that I've just noted. So I'm glad that the other ones are doing really well. So what we're going to be probably doing is by doing the silk weave epaulets for 1,835 gold profit for investing 360 gold. So that being the case, let's have a look on the auction house in a sec right now. And what we're going to have a look at is we're going to jump on our Brutasaur and we're going to have a look at what is going on. So we can pull this up. And what we need from our shopping, and I'm going to go to the basic UI because it seems to be working better and I don't get as much lag when I'm using this UI as opposed to TSM's. Don't know why that is, just seems to be working, so I'm going with it. So obviously I'm going to shift and click anything on here and it will automatically post it into your thing to double check what it is. So if you are searching for a certain thing, so let's go back to milling because we're going to do some milling. We're going to go over to Dreamleaf and we're going to search for Dreamleaf. Now we can see a stack of 13 gold worth of Dreamleaf and 236 of this item. So there's quite a lot of this item on the auction house. So that being the case, I'm probably only going to buy the stuff for 13 gold. Anything in 13 gold to order to flip. Probably not going to go with the 17 gold one because we want it to balance back out and get thing. I don't always just completely buy out an entire market because the fluctuation for doing it the following day or the following week sometimes can be screwed up if you do that on your realm. So just bear that in mind before you start flipping like a crazy man. And I will buy the 267 of the Dreamleaf. Thank you very much for 3,527 gold. I have just bought all of that. And the other thing of note that we wanted to buy is the Zenithid. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go and buy some Zenithid. So Now obviously we've got a lot of this stuff for 28 gold, so I'm not going to complain. So that being the case, we're going to buy over 1,000 stacks and that's going to cost us 28,000 gold. So it's going to cost us a fair amount of gold in order to do this. So 28,000 gold invested in Zenithid, and then we can move over to our disenchanting one, which is the silk weave epaulets. We can go with the frost woven wrist wraps, but I prefer to go with the Legion stuff. It's just all a point of reference. If you think that you can sell it in a fast, sharpish manner for that profit, then bear that in mind. But at the end of the day, I like to go with stuff I know that works. Obviously, if you're new, you won't know what works. But I find that going with the Legion, BFA, and the Kata stuff works rather well. So what I'm going to do is going to look for Shaldorai Silk. So Shaldorai Silk at 2 gold 80, and it's at stacks of 3,903 gold. So we can buy quite a lot of these. I'm not going to lie, this is quite a lot of them. So I can buy 1,000 of those in order to create in order to create another 10,000 gold profit for a 2,800 gold investment, as we can tell on the screen over here. So I'm going to buy all of that Shelder Silk off of the auction house, and we should be good. So we're going to go into another flip as of yet, just before we start crafting all of our flips, and that is the Spirit of Harmony flip. Now the Spirit of Harmony flip, obviously you can see on my realm that you can make 231,000 gold profit. Yeah, but that's for Serpent's Eye, and you only sell a sell rate of 0.06. So if you wanted to buy 200 of these with 200 Spirits of Harmony, you're not really going to sell them that fast. Let's be honest. They're mainly bought through that way in order to make panther mounts, so to speak. So you don't really want to be investing in your Serpent's Eye. So all a case of just using logic when you're doing this. So the next thing is we can now look at the sell rates, which are on the Spirit of Harmony and the Frozen Orb flip, which we can have a look at what sells fastest, and we can see that Trillium Ore sells pretty damn well for the amount of gold invested. So what I plan on doing is then looking at this, which is a 758 gold profit for a 0.21 sell rate for Black Trillium Ore. Now, the only problem with this is by Spirits of Harmony, you can do this, and it's probably worth your time to even do it. So Spirit of Harmony. And at the moment it's like 40 gold on my realms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy 200 of these for 8,000 gold, and we're going to turn them into black and white Trillium Ore for a stack of 200. So for a stack of 200 we make 758 gold profit, and for a stack of 200 white Trillium Ore 560 gold profit. With 200 of these Spirits of Harmony, you can buy 5 of each ore for every 1 Spirit of Harmony. So it's a 5-to-1 ratio when it comes to Spirits of Harmony. So just bear that in mind, that you will be making a hell of a lot more gold because for every stack of 200 Spirit of Harmony, you'll be making 5 times the amount of profit, of course. So just bear that one in mind when you're actually doing this. So Spirit of Harmony, we're going to buy that out. And then we're going to go down to our Frozen Orbs. We thought that the flipping module would be good for people getting into farming this type of stuff, and the best way about going about this is just going with the basics with flipping. The general census of flipping is by buying something at a low price, which you can then craft or turn into something else that is worth a lot more gold, and then selling that for profit. So essentially, crafting is kind of flipping, but that's besides the point. It's another way of looking at it is buying cheap BOE gear and then selling that for 10,000 gold more, and then making a profit on that. So that'd be another way in which you can go about doing flips. I mainly do not specialize in looking at BOE flips. That is something that I primarily do not go near. I don't really play around with it, but I have done my fair share of them. I would say I'm not that captivated by doing BOE flips. I don't really enjoy it, so therefore that's why I haven't done a guide on BOE flipping. But with material flips and like all that type of stuff, like shuffles and all that jazz with flips, you can do that, and it's a lot easier to do if you're just beginning. So if you don't have Worth It, download Worth It. It will provide you with Disenchanting, Prospecting, Milling, Spirit of Harmony flip, and Frozen Orb flip for pretty much anyone beginning with this stuff. So even if you've got one of those professions, you can then flip stuff into that type of gold. So other than that, the Frozen Orb flip seems to be a bust, and I'll tell you why. The Frozen Orb flip, if we pull it up, says 13,000 gold profit, but the sell rate is 0.18 of Eternal Fire, and that's for a stack of 200. So at the end of the day, I'm not fancying spending 12,000 gold for a 13,000 gold investment on on the Eternal Fires. If it was on the Spirit of Harmony, I would take it because they sell faster, those types of materials. But anything to do with Wrath of the Lich King Eternals, they take a lot longer to sell in my experience. So I would not go with that. This is why we have the sell rates on this bar here, because then you can make your own decision when you're doing flipping. At the end of the day, let's gather up all of our stuff that we've actually got. We have spent around about just over 40,000 gold worth of stuff in our bags. And judging by this, we can now divvy that up into how much it's actually worth. And if we go into configuration, it will actually tell me my destroying vendor value. Okay, and then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to divvy all of our stuff out for the milling flip. So what we're going to do is we're going to shove this over to Zathrash. So all of the herbs, Zenithid, Dreamleaf, and that's it. Send that over to Zathrash. And with the Spirit of Harmony flip, we can do that on our mage right now, which we will be just taking our portal to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, and I can actually show you how to do the Spirit of Harmony flip. So as we come into this area over here for the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, we're obviously going to head over to the Spirit of Harmony vendor, which is right here. If you haven't used Worth It before, and we go over to the flipping module for Spirit of Harmony, if we step away from the vendor and we press Add Waypoint, she'll actually pop up and a little arrow will come up on your screen telling you where the vendor is in order to do said flip, and it will disappear as soon as you get there. So the next thing is I've made a little add-on called Helper, and this was mainly decided to help me do that, and it is basically /click static pop-up 1 button 1, and that is to basically spam the actual buying method for this particular vendor. What I'm going to do now is I've got 200 Spirits of Harmony. I want to spend 100 Spirits of Harmony for each White Trillium ores. So what I'm going to do is I am going to spend 100 Spirits of Harmony for the Black Trillium ore. So I can then use that, and we will then do this. So that being the case, we will buy a load of these. Boom. And to make it a lot easier, I just spam this and just keep spending all of my stuff. So it's going to make a load of noise, so I will be with you once I've just quickly bought all of this stuff. But currently, as it stands with the Worth It add-on, we have currently about 15,000 gold's worth of stuff in our bags. So that being the case, we can then just move over to the Spirit of Harmony flip has done its thing, and I forgot to change that over. So we've now turned the initial investment for the Spirits of Harmony that we spent, which was about 8,000 gold for the Spirits of Harmony, and now we can just spend a bit more time doing the Shalderai Silk. So let's go over how we do the little flip for the Spirit of Heart now we can just go over how we will do the Shalderai Silk, which is just, if we have the materials, we will make the epaulets, and then we can then just sell those on the auction. Well, and then we can disenchant them. So we have over 1,000 cloth, and we can then now disenchant all of these little bits and bobs to make a load of gold. So this one requires a bit more time. So that being the case, let's just move over towards our milling. So when it comes down to the flipping for the herbs for milling, when it comes to your Dreamleaf and Zenithid, make sure that your Inscriptor has got the mass milling for both. It makes it so much easier than making a macro in order to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to double check our bag value, which is 52,000 gold. And we're going to mass mill all of our stuff. So that means we're going to mass mill this Zenithid into maroon pigments, and then we're going to turn it into maroon ink. So that being the case, it's going to take a little while in order to do this, but hopefully we can, but now we can then turn that into the inks in order to sell for a profit. Now, if you wanted to know on your inscriptor which one's the sell rates on them, all you have to do is just go over to the ink and put your tooltip over, which is a 0.22 sell rate, and the daily average sold is 88 of these maroon inks. Now, when it comes to the sallow pigments and all that stuff, we got to remember that inks do take a long time to sell. That's why they sell for so much more profit. But just bear that in mind when you're actually going to be doing this, as it will take a little bit longer for you to sell inks, as opposed to doing like a Spirit of Harmony flip, in which you can then turn that into other things moving forward. So just bear that in mind when you're actually going to keep going at this, because it will take you a lot longer in order to build up your reserves, so to speak. So when it comes to doing your Dreamleaf milling, just make sure that when you're going to turn... When you actually do it, you get nightmare pods, and this gives you additional sallow and roseate pigments in order to basically increase your gold. This is actually included within the Worth It add-on. It actually gives you an average on how much you're going to get as well. That's added onto the milling value as well. That's why sometimes you can see a lot more gold after you've opened all your nightmare pods. But then all you have to do is just get some distilled water from a mailbox guy, and then just craft all of your maroon inks and sell them on the auction house. This was a basic introduction or a noob's guide in order to do flipping, and that is primarily using your inscription and your prospecting and disenchanting, as well as your Spirit of Harmony one. Just make sure that you have your mass milling or mass prospecting in order to make it more effectively, because no one wants to sit there prospecting all day. And then all you have to do is just resell that on the auction house. That's basically the bottom line when it comes to milling and prospecting. With Disenchanting, it takes a little bit more work, but aside from that, they are probably the best ways in order to get into flipping, as you're just flipping common materials into other materials to sell on the auction house for a profit. So once you've got the hang of doing the flips and then selling them on the auction house and just making a nice little production line for those, then you can see returns. Then start out branching into other things that you may want to start trying to flip. So start with one flip and then work your way up from doing 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and so on. So that being the case, that's all I've really got to talk today about the video. Also, don't forget, we have managed to hit 21,000 downloads on the Worth It add-on. Could not have been better to wake up to. And along with that, it's just the amount of feedback for the new Worth It add-on has just been absolutely amazing. Also, don't forget that the charity fundraiser for the RSPCA is still ongoing to the 31st of January. And other than that, guys, have an awesome rest of your day, and I shall see you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. Have an awesome day, guys, and I shall see you soon.
Yeah.